The idea that you cannot be happy or successful or raise good kids outside the church is just wrong. And I have thousands of evidence. I mean, even at my kids' own high school, like, it does happen, right?
False. Happiness does not exist outside the church or inside. Just kidding. The antis are going to love that one. The belief that happiness does not exist outside the church is not taught in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Happiness is an emotion felt by all people, regardless of their faith. Happiness is often tied to external circumstances. And so I think there's a better conversation to be had here about joy, which I describe as the highest form of happiness. Joy is a state of being that can endure trials, suffering, heartache, grief, long waits for tables at your favorite restaurant. Let me share a brief story with you to help illustrate this principle. I served my mission in a third world country, Honduras, loved it, wonderful people. There's kind of a rainy season and a dry season. And so we're either like soaked with sweat for 6 months or we're just soaked with rain for 6 months. And they were like equally worse. We used to have to stuff our scriptures into plastic bags and tie it up and then stick it in the backpacks because the backpacks just get filled with water. It was the rainy season and we're in this little village. So dirt roads, adobe houses that people made, dirt floors, all of that. And as a missionary, your goal is to teach people the gospel of Jesus Christ and tell them the good news that he lived and died and was resurrected for us. And sometimes everything you have planned in a day falls through completely. And this was one of those days. Nobody showed up. When nobody shows up, you get your famous missionary door knocking that we do. And so we knocked all day and nobody answered. And it started to rain and it got dark and it got cold and we got muddy walking through these streets. And we needed a little break. And so we decided to visit a friend of ours. And we just stopped in to say hi. And he gave us some lemonade. And when they give you lemonade there, it's lemon juice with some sugar in it. And for whatever reason, it just doesn't sit well with me. And I wanted to be done with it as soon as possible. So I chugged this. I chugged this lemonade. And less than 10 minutes later, I am throwing up in the street in this dirt road. I'm sick. I'm miserable. I'm cold. I'm soaking wet. I've been rejected. And by all metrics, I should have been miserable. And physically, I kind of was. But I just remember feeling joy and peace and a light in my soul. And it didn't make sense. And now I know that joy far surpasses happiness. And joy is accessible to all people everywhere when we're following Jesus Christ. Here's what is taught in the church. President Russell Nelson said, "The joy we feel has little to do with the circumstances of our lives and everything to do with the focus of our lives." So what should be our focus? Jesus is the focus that brings the most joy in this life and the next. You will experience joy to the degree that you follow Jesus.